Honestly, I was busy yesterday, okay? I didn't drop the ball on this video. No pun intended.
Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. The Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul.
They're gonna run out of cheeseheads soon.
The Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Check it out now. The Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, the Funk Soul Brother. Right about now, about now, about now, about now.
What is poppin', y'all? It's your man, Cowboy Bales. Welcome to another episode of Wisco Sports Weekly, where obviously yesterday, the Brewers have officially clinched the division for the sixth time in franchise history. 2023 champs. I predicted that we were going to win the division this year, not out of bias, but out of belief that I think we were good enough to actually do well this season and win. I applaud how I think a lot of people got to give respect that we are an underrated team. Do I think this team can win it all? No. But do I think this team is very underappreciated? Yes. We have a lot of young guys on this team, but a lot of veterans that are helping out this team in any possible way. It was a really young team. That's where direction we were going in. Our pitchers obviously were the ones that were doing all the work. And what I think is important is we need to be able to move it on and go forward with any sort of victory whatsoever. You know what? We did not win yesterday, but the Cubs lost. That's really all that mattered. I mean, I don't know how you can sit there and, I mean, we literally made the postseason because literally someone dropped a ball on a routine flyout. I don't think I've ever seen that ever happen. The Cubs were up 6-0 and they lost 7-6. That is just bad. But I guess that moment is gonna live in rent free for the rest of my life. How the Cubs completely dropped the ball. I can't keep saying that. Oh, it's just funny. But you know what? We won it. A couple losses were kind of worrying me, but I think they just were hitting a little snag, and I think, you know what? I'm kind of glad that they didn't clinch a couple days ago, because they would have had a whole week to boom, whole week and then postseason. And I remember 2 years ago when they clinched, we had a whole week, and I think in that final stretch, if I recall, I don't think we won a game. And then we went into the postseason. The Braves were they dominated us. And I think it was clear as day that, we should have really taken it more serious. And I get it. That whole month of September, I think it was a bad month for the Brewers that year. But this year, I feel like we've had some great moments in this year. I feel like there's a lot of games this year I wish I could take back, because I feel like we really could have won those games. Especially the one against the Yankees, where we almost had the no-hitter going to the 11th, and a couple others. A lot of 1-0 victories. I wish more, but I feel like there's got to be some things and some adjustments they do got to make into the postseason. I want to see Devin Williams just getting playing time despite anything, because he hasn't even seen the field in over a week. We have 5 more games left. I do not want them to ease up like they did 2 years ago, because that's what cost them, I think, the postseason. They just didn't have any momentum, and there was no offense last year. If we want to see offense being produced in any playoff series, that's what's going to happen. we have locked the 3 seed, which is unfortunately meaning that we have a wild card matchup. So, do we know who our wild card matchup is going to be? Not yet. It could be any teams. Obviously, there are 4 candidates right now. The Chicago Cubs, the Cincinnati Reds, obviously 2 division rivals. I think Cincinnati's kind of slipping a little bit, so I think I might put them out of it, but they're still in it. The Miami Marlins, who obviously we just played in 2 series not just long ago. And honestly, the worst choice, that the team I really don't want to play, the Arizona Diamondbacks, who if we played them, I don't believe we'd beat them. But here's the deal: there's a lot riding for the Brewers right now, and because when you think about the season now, you think about, and here's the thing: I don't even want to play the Cubs because realistically, it's just going to be a rivalry, and you know how it is with Cubs fans coming into to AmFam. There are more Cubs fans than Brewers fans, and it's going to be a completely biased series, and I don't know if I'd want to do that. It just wouldn't be right. Especially when you have to first host the first 2 games and go on the road in the final game. That's why I kind of feel like they should change these things up and just be like, oh, well, why don't they? I don't know. I hate how the 3rd seed who wins the division doesn't get a bye. It's just unfair to me. But you know what? I wish that wasn't for the best. Those are likely the 4 teams. Now, I'm not going to do a video until we find out at the very end of the season who our opponent is, because I feel like we have, obviously, a lot to infer. But here, I'd like to obviously give my shout-outs and thanks for all the Brewers this season. Definitely, I feel like our MVP this season, we'll give that award to William Contreras. I think he definitely showed up big this season. I think he was our best offensive player, knew how to hit the ball. Christian Yelich is most improved player of the year. I mean, definitely from last season, the last 2 seasons, he definitely improved as a player. I don't think he's MVP material anymore, but he definitely improved. So that's great. Our pitcher of the year will go to Corbin Burns, as obvious. Even though this wasn't his greatest season, it still is Corbin Burns, and honestly, I don't know what the team would do without him. That's for sure. And then fielder of the year, we'll give to Willy Adames. Obviously, he's just been on the field 100% of the time, and he's been doing all that stuff. That's great to see. Obviously, newcomers William Contreras, so we're not going to really get this. And rookie of the year, this was a really tough one, but I had to go with Sal Frelick. He honestly made an impact as soon as he got called up, and that was great to see. But you know what? The postseason is all that matters. You got, trading for Carlos Santana and Canna, I think were great moves. And signing Josh Donaldson, also a great move. You, Brewers, I think deep down, we know what we got to do. And I'm very confident in any situation. We got 5 more games at home to prove our worth. And then we're going into the postseason. I've already been told by people, oh, you guys are going to choke again. Yes, you know what? That could happen. But I don't want that to happen. So, I got faith. And we'll see what happens. Obviously, my next video on the Brewers will be a preview of the upcoming Wild Card Series. So, we'll see what happens. So, if you like what you see, comment below, subscribe with your thoughts, and go Brewers. We will see you next time.